Hi there, I'm Peter McKenzie with Rincon Property Management, and today's video is going to be a question we get from potential clients, and that is, can I do the maintenance myself on my property? So let's dive into that. First of all, with our company, one, we always keep our clients in the loop. So we over communicate. Our clients generally don't feel like they don't know what's going on when it comes to maintenance. So unfortunately in our industry, a lot of companies are poor communicators, which is why sometimes clients want to have more involvement in things like maintaining the property. The key is to communicate well and not have the concern for starters. The other issue is, now that you have your property as a rental property, you're essentially in business for yourself and you have tenants living in the house. If you send over unlicensed, uninsured vendors to do work on the house, for example, let's say you send over an unlicensed electrician, and that electrician makes a mistake and causes a fire that damages the house and or injures your tenant, well, you have a fair amount of liability for not using a properly licensed and insured vendor. When it comes to doing your own maintenance, you still have some of those same risks. If you, as the owner, kind of know how to do a little bit of everything, and you want to go over there and do something yourself, and say you perform a repair that actually requires a license, like electrical or plumbing, and a mistake is made that damages harms the tenant or the property in any way, shape, or form, there's a good chance you have some liability in that scenario. The best practice is to use licensed and insured vendors. Now, if it's a handyman who is over there to handle a minor issue, more than likely a contractor's license is not required. But if it's over the threshold that the state licensing board puts out, then you will need a contractor's license. There is a lot of risk in using unlicensed people, which is why our company will not send someone to do maintenance on your property that doesn't carry the proper insurance and or license if needed. Now, if you have a vendor that you prefer who is licensed and insured, then absolutely we would love to add that person to our vendor list, because we are always looking for good vendors. And if you have a vendor who meets all the requirements, we will make a note on your account to only use that vendor on your property for whatever the issue is. Now, if your vendor's not available and it's an emergency, there might be a scenario where we have to go to a different vendor. But if it's assuming none of those things are happening and you have a favored vendor, we're happy to use that vendor. We don't allow our owners to physically go and do the maintenance themselves. One of the reasons, in addition to the other ones we outlined, is you're hiring a property management company to be a firewall between you as the owner and the tenant. If you go to the property and do maintenance, now the owner and the tenant have a direct connection, and it makes it really hard for the management company to manage the property. In fact, it almost never works going forward once the owners and the tenants are connected. It makes it really difficult. So how does our maintenance team provide support in doing the job that they do for your property? First off, we have a 24/7 call center for emergencies. So if your tenant picks up the phone at 2 in the morning because there's a flood in the house, someone's going to answer it, and one of our trusted vendors is going to be dispatched at 2 o'clock in the morning to address the issue. If you were personally in charge of doing all the maintenance of your home, if we couldn't get a hold of you, or you couldn't, the tenant couldn't get a hold of you, that could present a serious problem, because things like water damage only get worse over time. So we at Rincon have this 24/7 service in place. I want to wrap it up with a few final points. One, we have trusted vendors that have been working with Rincon Property Management for a long time. Because we provide them with volume of work, we have leverage over them. So if there ever is an issue, or a mistake was made, or a scheduling problem, it means something when we call them and ask them to fix it. Whereas sometimes, especially in our current environment, if a homeowner calls one vendor and asks them to do something, that vendor might have more work than they can handle, and they won't even show up. Contractors are notorious for this. And when you work with a company like ours who has leverage over their vendor list, you don't have those experiences. I hope that answers the question. Thanks for watching the short video. Feel free to go to our website on our Learning Hub for more information, or you can fill out the Contact Us page, and we're happy to reach out to you and have a deeper conversation on this topic. Thank you.